Okay, hi everyone, welcome back. And in this update, we are going to check out Avalanche's price chart. And in my view, this is actually the perfect example of if the structures are looking bullish, okay, no matter what is going to happen to the rest of the market, they are going to do the job beautifully. Because if you remember, the last time that we talked about Avalanche, we were, I think, right in here, and the idea was that maybe this is a correction structure into wave 4, and we said no matter on what degree even this thing actually ends up being, one way or the other, in AVAX the structures do suggest that we are going to get yet another move on the upside. And as you can see, in a lot of other altcoins, and including for that matter BTC, we have gotten a very good move down, and that was actually right in this phase. But followed by that, in Bitcoin, we are getting like a very small bounce. However, what happened in Avalanche? We just shot back up, and in it, we took the highest high right in here, about $35.50. So as you can see, if the structures are looking great, they are going to continue looking great. And in Avalanche, again, this was once more not an exception. However, though, having said that, I think we need to adjust some waves in here. You see, I do not believe that this is a 1, 2, 3 correction for another move up into wave 5. Why? Because we are now having in here overlapping of the waves between our supposedly wave 4 and 2. And you might say, well, okay, what about having an expanding ending diagonal? Unfortunately, I do not subscribe to that camp. And whenever your impulse is actually morphing into having some sort of a diagonal, that is a problem for you. And maybe it is best to consider some other counts. And that's why I'm doing that. Excuse me. And I'm going to say, you know what we were saying in Avalanche in the previous video, that was like not necessarily the most beautiful scenario, is actually in play in here. This is 1, this is 2, to about this point is wave 3, correction for 4, another move on the upside into wave 5. I know this structure looks really ugly, but believe it or not, this is actually the most likely one, given the fact that we got such a move on the downside in this phase. Now, in here, I'm going to say, let's actually delete the subwaves, that this point is the end of our wave 5, and on a higher degree, the end of this wave 3 is in here, followed by a correction for 4. And right now, I still believe our move up is going to continue into this wave 5. And pay attention to what we are having off of this point. In my view, we are most likely, yes, having in here a wave 1, correction for wave 2, decent move up into wave 3, correction for 4, another move into wave 5. I'm going to say potentially to about this point and not the highest high. And followed by that, this is going to be a correction structure on the downside, maybe like a flat and a zigzag if you want to say the low is end. And if you want to say maybe the low is not end, well, okay, maybe this is an ABC flat, followed by that we are having some sort of a flat structure in here, and then we're going to have another move down in order to complete the subwaves for a WXY in form of a flat and a zigzag. Now, the reason that I'm not really maneuvering over this structure way too much is because honestly, it doesn't really matter. You see, one way or the other, in AVAX, I think we are still most likely looking very much optimistic, and this is going to be just a temporary rejection from these levels, suggesting, you know what, we are just gathering the power for the next phase on the upside. And if you want to be really optimistic, you can argue this is 1, this is 2, and what's next? Great move up into wave 3, 4, 5, which is going to be into this wave 5 right in here. Now, here's a very important point. If this scenario is truly in play, then okay, I'm gonna say probably by the next 48 to 72 hours, we have to have the next phase up into our wave 3. Otherwise, if the current correction structure is going to drag, let's say, for another week or maybe 10 days, okay, that's gonna open up the doors to maybe this structure indicating, you know what, this is the end of our wave 5, and on a higher degree, this is the end of wave 3. Followed by that, we are going to have again a 10-day to even potentially 2 weeks of correction structure into wave 4. And once more, as you can see, again, the conclusion is the same. We are going to indeed have yet another good move up into wave 5. So for now, in Avalanche, let's be optimistic as long as we are not proven otherwise. And if, let's say, by the next 4 or 5 days, we see yet another strong bounce, okay, that can be a great sign suggesting that 1-2 scenario that I showed you earlier is in play, which is fantastic. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in AVAX. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.